me ask you something. You think Spanky's nuts? I feel like I've seen it all. But of course we haven't. Is this truck up to it the equalizer, or will it be the Carolina Crusher? The finals from Tampa are coming up next on Monster Truck Challenge. Welcome back to Monster Truck Challenge. Okay, now to the case of the borrowed tire. Who do you think lent it to the equalizer? Joe Lowe may have a clue. He's trackside with all the play-by-play. Joe?
We're set for the finals in Tampa. Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher, digging in. And talk about digging. This guy had to dig and claw his way to the championship race tonight. Gary Porter out of Wadesboro, North Carolina, came from behind, and he is right here against David Morris in the equalizer. Now remember, David had a tire problem earlier, but he's here. So these two guys, what is going on here? David Morris, where are you going? Gary Porter's sitting at the line. He's going, what's going on? And David Morris is running the race. David Morris, he thinks he just won it. And there was all sorts of confusion on the starting line. The guy in David's lane, the equalizer lane, is saying ready to go. The guy in Gary Porter's lane is saying come on up. The starter starts. Don't blame David Morris. He says, oh, green light, let's go. Meanwhile, Gary Porter's just sitting there. And because of the problems with the starters, they're going to run it all over one more time. This time they both get the green light. David Morris, the equalizer. Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher. The turn is where it's going to happen. Gary Porter gets hung up. David Morris executes the turn perfectly, and he goes on for the win. What a great job of driving. David Morris, the equalizer. Here's where it was won on the turn. David does this turn exactly like it should be done. If you were going to write a how-to manual, that's the way to make that turn. Gary Porter went too wide. It was too late for him. The win from Springfield, Tennessee, the equalizer, and David Morris. Meanwhile, let's take a look at Gary Porter's run. He is having an excellent run. He's doing well. He's overcome problems to be here in the final. It's on this turn. He goes way wide. Meanwhile, hey, equalizer's already going home, and he's still halfway through the turn. The equalizer right into the winner's circle. And let's go down to the track now and find out from Gary Porter what happened on that run.
Oh, well, really nothing went right. And I, start off in qualifying. We tore up some parts. Then the first round, something happened to my rear steering, or I didn't turn it, one of the two. And then, I come back as a fast loser. Tires messed up, when I was able to make it to the finals, and in that final run there, I didn't make the turn like I should have, and it just wasn't my day, but we'll be back.
Well, that was a tremendous win for you.
Yeah, I've been struggling here all night just trying to stay in the races. First of all, I had that tire that I cut up, and then I lost a Bigfoot, but luckily he hit a barrier, so I got to come back, and if it wasn't for the Carolina Crusher, even though I had to race him in the finals and win, but he let me borrow a spare tire from him to take the win, so I guess he won't let me borrow any more tires.
So did your spare tire help Dave win this one?
Yeah, he busted a tire in the first round, and I had a spare with the tire and wheel out there in the trailer, and I let him borrow it and ended up in the finals with me.
So part of you won.
That's right.
And there's a big handshake. David Morris and Gary Porter. David in the winner's circle because of a borrowed tire he got from Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher. Now, those of you who go to U.S. Hot Rod Association shows, and those of you who are regular viewers of Monster Truck Challenge, know a straight line course is the way these guys are used to running, and Gary Porter's among the best. But they're starting to put more and more turning courses in on the U.S. Hot Rod Association shows, and this is where Gary Porter has to do some homework and has to practice. You can see how the tires are turned. This is forcing him outward. He's got to turn a lot wider than the equalizer. He needs to get the full use of that rear steer and make a much tighter turn to be competitive on these turning courses. And I'm sure we're going to see Gary overcome that problem and probably do a lot of practicing in the weeks to come. The next turning course should show things a whole lot different. So the epitaph for tonight's show, winning on borrowed tires. And this guy did it. David Morris and the Equalizer, a winner on Monster Truck Challenge.
What do you figure they're saying in that rig back there? I guess maybe it's true that nice guys do finish last, because Gary Porter lends David Morris the tire, and Morris says, I'll put it on the back of my truck so you can see it, pal, when I leave you in the dust. The Equalizer in the winner's circle here in Tampa. More on Monster Truck Challenge in just a moment. Hail to the victor, David Morris and Equalizer. But alas, we have come to the saddest part of the week, for it is time for Monster Truck Challenge to close. But before we get out of here, if you enjoy watching the Monster Truck Challenge as much as we enjoy bringing it to you, drop us a line. Send your cards and letters to Monster Truck Challenge, 477 East Butterfield, Suite 400, Lombard, Illinois, and that zip is 60148. We'll be happy to help you enjoy the excitement you're going to be seeing week in and week out right here on ESPN. And be sure to tell your friends about our program. Hey, congratulations to David Morris and Equalizer, our winners in Tampa Stadium. David's having a great year as the hottest of the best monster trucks in the entire world. And you think Morris is going to win the World Championship? That's why the two most important words in my business are stay tuned. We'll see you next week. Hey, for Joe Lowe and for Jim Clark and all the gang here on Monster Truck Challenge, I'm Ken Brew. Drive safely. And so long, everybody.